Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at the most toxic team for the Spring Cup. I'm sorry to ruin it for all of you, but if you have this team, you're going to get some very fast and easy wins. What you see on this team is the most annoying, most damaging, fast move beatdown team that you could imagine. We're going to have the Shadow variant of Broguiere. We're going to have the Katana, where there are options to exchange it in. I'm going to talk about this, so don't click away if you don't have a Katana. There are options that you can run instead. And here you see some lag as well, which is kind of nice, but actually the lag kind of mattered because now the opponent is getting more fast moves in, which is really annoying. And otherwise they might have not been able to reach a charge move here, but doesn't really matter. We will find out here later because we still have our victory bell. It's going to be a Poliwrath in the back, and this is going to be a good game as they're just gonna get fully farmed down. Honestly, this team was amazing. I think I played 14 games, which you see here in this video as well, and I think I had one draw and two losses, I think, in total. So I went, what is it then, 11, 1 and 2, and this team is just so fast as well. I had a 5-0 that took me 8 minutes and 22 seconds, and it is just mad. Honestly, this team is absolutely amazing because nearly everyone currently is playing some kind of grass type in the lead and then 2 water type Pokemon in the back. This is the most common team and I face it all the time. And this team here is just a complete hard counter to it. And I'm hard countering every kind of opponent here right now, which is just so hilarious because look at the Shadow Victory Bell, goodbye Shadow Poliwrath, and we win while the opponent still has 2 shields left. What do you want to do against more of a bad lead? Here Empoleon is a little bit of a bad lead for you. You kind of want to swap out into always your worst Pokemon. Here, for example, Katana is going to be able to resist the fast move and also does a little bit more damage, I think, as well. So it is better for us to go into Victory Bell, which is the worst Pokemon to go into, as we will be able to have a better matchup later on when they swap out. Here they decide to go into their Trevenant. I can go into my Mawile, but I kind of have to always keep a shield for the Katana. This is something that I also kind of realized early on already. Katana in anything else than 1 or 2 shields is useless. Katana 0 shields loses against something like a Lantern. There is no use in that. And so we're gonna see here that the opponent has a Lantern in the back and we can easily just farm them all the way down here. Goodbye there, easy another win, and we can move on to the next one. Great lead for us. Honestly, 90% of the leads that I was encountering were just, grass type Pokemon, which is amazing. If they swap out here, by the way, into the Poliwrath, of course, always go into your Victory Bell. If they swap into something else, like a Dugong, always go into your, what's called Katana. Katana is going to be better. Of course, you want to know most likely what can you use instead of Katana. It's a little bit difficult to commentate here right now because the battles are so fast. I would actually recommend you to go for Ferrothorn instead if you have no Katana. The other option would be to go for Roserade, but with Roserade you're going to have a little bit of an issue against something like a Tentacruel. Tentacruel would completely destroy your team then, while Katana is pretty easily able to beat Tentacruel because you have the steel typing. You just don't have this with Roserade there. Roserade you can either go for Razor Leaf or for the Poison Jab. I still would recommend you Poison Jab, to be fair, but look at this here, we're going to be able to win another game. Next opponent, another Empoleon, again, not really ideal. A lot of times you're going to lose the lead, but you really don't want to lose the lead actually with this team. A lot of times with those ABB style lines, it is fine to lose the lead. Here, I definitely saw a little bit more of an issue with this team if you lose lead, because if they have something in the back like a Roserade, they're just going to be able to get so much energy, which is going to be really difficult because they can take 1 Weather Ball with your Mawile, but not more than 1. And then you're going to have a Katana in the back, and Katana is just going to not really appreciate the 0 shield scenario. And here I was forced to use a shield. And I think this was actually the first battle that I played with this team. And so we're going to see here that they're going to have a Lantern in the back. Exactly, this is the first battle that I played with this team. And here I kind of realized, oh, Katana is really useless if you don't have a shield. So here we were able to not win this game because Katana is going to go down from just 1 Thunderbolt from a Lantern, which is kind of wild, but it is what it is. We can move on into the next one. Next opponent coming through, we're going to have a Pelipper in the lead. This is basically one of the worst possible leads that you could encounter as well. Literally, I think the worst possible Pokemon to encounter for this team is Pelipper. But we can still play with it. We can still go ahead and use 1 shield here. I can go for the CMP tie, and with this, I can force them to use a shield as well. Or in general, I will be able to get them low enough that my Katana is going to be great for it. Here again, I kind of realized that Katana needs a shield, so I decided to go for the no shield with my Victory Bell, because otherwise otherwise I'm not going to have a great time with Katana. We will see the full farmland, we have to see what they're gonna swap into. They're gonna swap out into a Trevenant. I want to swap out here, but it was a little bit too late, and now I'm forced to use a shield, which is kind of annoying because it is actually just a seed bomb. It is so sad that we use a shield for that, but the opponent has a Poliwrath in the back anyway. This is going to be a little bit tricky, but honestly, this was a hard counter team against me, which is totally okay, which is going to happen quite often as well. So it is fine to lose against it. Here we see the Dynamic Punch coming through, going to knock me out. I can still knock out the opponent's Poliwrath with one super effective stab, Leaf Blade, but it is not going to be enough to knock out the Trevenant, and so this is going to be a very good game. Next opponent. Dugong lead, you kind of want to swap out here, swap out into the Victory Bell. It is better for you to swap out in my opinion because you're just going to have a little bit of a better time with your Pokemon in the back than with your lead, and you kind of need your lead in order to get rid of other grass type Pokemon. And so here we're going to get out the Trevenant. I can go for the full farmland, which is a little bit annoying, but I can at least go back into my Mawile. I still would be able to survive one Shadow Ball from the opponent, but I decided here to go for a shield because a Shadow Ball would just do a little bit too much damage. And again, Mawile is actually kind of okay for the Dugong matchup, but they swap out into the Poliwrath. I have to hope that I can maybe get a shield from them or something, and I have to hope that they're gonna swap out here as well. They decide to go for the Icy, which is great. I decide to swap out here, and they swap out into their own Dugong. And with this, I actually have a very decent chance of using a shield here, farming them down, getting to a Leaf Blade, getting the knockout against the Poliwrath, or like, not the knockout, but like the shield against the Poliwrath, and then still getting to the Poliwrath in order to knock them out. So let's see if this is going to work out for us. You see here that the opponent is going to go for a shield, and I can still reach the Poliwrath in order to get the knockout, and so this is going to be a good game. Again, it is just wild how fast those battles are. Another great lead for us. Let's see, they swap out into their Lostheart. We just have to use one shield here in order to knock them out because our Katana is just doing enough damage here basically with just the Razor Leaf in order to knock them out, so we will see this here as well for a farm down. And the cool thing here as well is that the opponent is going to most likely be forced to go for a charge move against us. We are very, very glassy with Katana, but Ferrothorn has no shot really at farming us down, as they're going to have the double resisted Bullet Seed. We can still reach another charge move here. Night Surge is coming through, we're gonna get them insanely low, and they're forced to go for their own charge move, which is going to be most likely that Power Whip. Oh no, actually it's Mirror Shot, which is even better for us. So Mawile doesn't really have to fear anything. They have in the back a Seaking, and they decide to forfeit this game. Next opponent, a Bummer Snow lead, amazing lead for us, and we can see here they swap out into the Poliwrath. As again, like, you see all battles that I really did with this team, and also you're gonna see here that I am going to be able to just hardwall most of the Pokemon because nearly everyone is playing either a Bummer Snow or Tropius or Ferrothorn in the lead, and we just completely destroying this because nobody really expects right now something like a Mawile, something like that does fire damage, and so this is just so great for us. Here we can just go back into our Mawile, we can take the move, we still can keep one shield, and they're very likely going to have a, what's called a Lantern in the back. Let's see. It is actually a Lantern in the back, as said. It's just a very common team, and so we can easily win this one. Next opponent, next the Bummer Snow. And let's see what they're going to have in the back. It is going to be that Poliwrath. It is not the same battle, it is just one of the most common teams that you can currently find in the Go Battle League for the Spring Cup, and we just completely destroy them. And this is literally a cheat code. Like, this team is like such a cheat code in the current meta. I could see that the meta gonna shift after this video because, yeah, like, people are going to be aware, people are going to use this team if they have, especially if they have the Katana. Like, if you have a Katana that you can build, for sure something that you want to have for this cup. It is amazing to play. Just the typing is so great. And look at it again here. What we have in the back, it's going to be a Lantern. We're stuck in this matchup for a little bit. We can still go for a Power Punch, which they most likely not going to shield exactly. And so we can get some free damage as we can swap out into our Katana, go for the full farm down, and there is literally zero that the opponent can do here. And so we can take that easy victory. Next opponent, next Empoleon, which is going to be a little bit tricky again. I don't like Empoleon as a lead. They swap out here into the Trevenant, which is okay for us. They're gonna go for a Charge Move here, which I feel like, is this just a Seed Bomb? It's just a Seed Bomb. We can even go for another Charge Move here. That's amazing. Like, this is literally perfect for us because they can go for the Leaf Blade now. This is going to get them insanely low. Low enough that we can realign. And guess what? Empoleon is not enjoying the Katana matchup because we have to use a shield still, but their fast move is going to be resisted, our fast move is going to do neutral damage, and the opponent is not going to enjoy this one at all. We can go for the full farm down. In the back is going to be a Roserade. Here, make a mistake, should swap out immediately. This charge move doesn't do anything for me, but it is what it is. We can just swap out into our Mawile. We do super effective damage with Fire Fang, and as you can see here as well, we do just so much damage against the Roserade, and the opponent has no chance of winning this game anymore. Next one coming through, we're going to have a Roserade in the lead, which is amazing for us, exactly where we need it. Let's see what they're going to swap into. They are swapping into the Poliwrath, forcing us to go into our Victory Bell, our only real answer for the Poliwrath. But a lot of times they're like using them as a Say Swap, or when they use a Say Swap with it, it's usually the Dugong, where you go into your Katana anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Unless you're going to encounter like a Poliwrath in the lead where you can still swap into your Katana instead of the Victory Bell, you're going to be kind of fine with this team anyway. So like this team is so good anyway, no matter what you want to do. Here the opponent can go for the full farm now, which is a little bit annoying. I'm forced to let this next move go through. Oh, never mind, I'm actually going to use a shield, which is a little bit annoying, because I can still get to another one here. I'm trying to swap out as soon as I can. We have to hope that there's something in the back that I can win against. It's a Whiscash. Look at the damage. It is not going to be enough to really knock them out yet, but we can still hope and pray. I should have let them get some more damage onto me, but I can still go for 2 more fast moves, and so 1 more Fire Fang is enough, and we can win another one. Honestly, like, it is mad on how many grass types there are in the lead right now for me. Bruxus coming in is an interesting Pokemon, very interesting Say Swap in the current meta. I feel like it's a very good Pokemon actually to use. Might be something I'm going to take a look at in the future as well, but it is not going to be great against Katana. We can just realign pretty easily. They swap back into the Tropius. I don't get to another move, but I can just go into my Mawile, and it's very likely that they're going to have another water type in the back. I can let the Leaf Blade go through. We'll see that it's not going to two-shot us at all, and I can just go for a full farm down basically. I'm not even going to decide to go for any charge move or whatever, because if it's a Poliwrath, we're still going to be fine. Oh, look at this, it's a Poliwrath, we're still going to be fine. We can just go for the full farm down here. I don't even have to use a shield, but this was maybe a mistake, I have to say, because now the counter damage just added up a little bit too much for me. But maybe we can still win this game. Well, let's find out if it's going to work out for us. We can actually win by 1 HP. Final one for today. Horrible Lead, the worst possible Pokemon to encounter for this team next to Pelipper is going to be the Tentacruel. Tentacruel is fine if they swap it into you because you have Katana. Katana is just a good wall against it. Here they make a great play and they're going to have a Celio in the back. Celio is a little bit of a trickier Pokemon to deal with, but we can go for the Acid Spray, and with this we can align our own Mawile. And Mawile is going to resist all the charge moves. They don't run Water Pulse in this meta. Aurora Beam is way better for them in this meta, and so it is going to be that Aurora Beam. We can easily take it. We can go for the full farm down, and now the Katana is still lurking in the back, hopefully able to counter the Tentacruel and whatever is in the back, but we will find out shortly about this. Let's see. We can swap out now into our Katana. They swap into their Tentacruel. We do some damage here. They're going to have a Trevenant in the back, and this is going to be a little bit of a trickier one, as I'm forced to let this move go through. It is going to be that Seed Bomb, and so I can go for the Night Slash, and this Night Slash is going to either get the knockout or we're going to be able to get the shield, but no, we're going to get the knockout, and now we can just go for the Power Up Punch. Power Up Punch will allow us to buff our own attack, but of course they would have the Acid Spray still available to them, which is going to debuff our defense. So can we still get to another Power Up Punch in time is the question at this point. We can with a 1 HP again, and so we can win the final game of today as well. 14 games in less than 14 minutes, absolutely wild. So overpowered this team currently, but again, I feel like the meta is going to shift because of this team, so hopefully you can still use it for a little bit, but that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoy. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.